Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and thank you for attending today's session on advanced PDF editing. My name is Didi Kato. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at Foxit, and joining me is Dan Morris, Senior Solutions Architect. Before we get started, there's a few things I wanted to cover. All attendees are in listen-only mode, so if you have questions during the presentation, please use the question feature located on your screen. All the content related questions will be answered towards the end of the presentation. However, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So feel free to go ahead and type in your questions as we go through the discussion. Here are some of the topics that we'll be covering today. We want to talk about some of the more advanced features we have in our PhantomPDF product. We also are going to show you another one of our products. It's called Redact Rendition Server, and we'll do some automating of redaction in that product. We'll also talk about bookmarking and hyperlinks. We have many court customers, and these are very useful topics, I think, for court administrators and also other government agencies. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick poll here on your job roles. So if you could just take a moment. Are you seeing the poll by any chance?
I do.
Okay, good. Okay, good, yeah. All right. Okay, good. So we have we have quite a few business users as opposed to IT, which is good. Okay, that's good. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dan, who will jump right into the demo.
All right. Waiting for the pop-up.
Let me get it here. Dan. Okay, sorry for the delay. There you go.
There we go. All right, and Didi, if you could just confirm that you see my screen.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Everyone, Dan Morris here, Senior Solutions Architect at Foxit. So we're going to go over many different points and types of redaction, ways to do it, and different applications to do it with. Everything from our Foxit PDF editor, PhantomPDF, to server-side automation tools, to doing it right inside of Microsoft Word, or you can do it in PowerPoint as well. But we have a plugin for Office that allows for a few different redaction options. And as Didi said, we'll also look at bookmarking and hyperlinking as well. So right now, if you look, we're looking at PhantomPDF. This is our application. On many demos, I'll go through the entire toolbar just to show what we have. I'm not going to do that today. We're focused on the Protect toolbar. So you can see this is where you have all of your encryption, password protection, permissions, RMS integration, signatures, and of course redaction, which is what we're going to talk about today. And so we start with the simplest ways to mark for redaction. So if we have a beautiful document like this with lots of text, lots of images, we want to, let's start off by just redacting some pages. So what we can do is go up to Mark for Redaction here and select Pages. We'll get a little pop-up here, and we can type in page 1, 3, 7, or 1, 5 through 9, as you kind of see the example there. There's pretty much any way you can think to type redact these pages. Just type it in. Let's do the first 5. And once I choose a range like this, I can actually choose if I want to do even or odd pages within that range. So we're going to do all, and that's the default. If I click OK, it marks all of these pages for redaction. So now it's not redacted yet. When I mouse over it, you'll see the screen become black. So I can see here, if I go to the next page, same thing happens. Let me zoom out a little bit. And so these pages are all marked for redaction. If I want to actually apply that redaction, I'll come up here, the top left, and just simply hit apply. Now it is redacting these, and this is true redaction, so there's nothing left on the page. The black mark, and there are some settings where you can adjust color, is simply to show that there was content there at some point, but there's no longer content. Another way to do it in the manual spectrum is to go to the text and images portion here. So when I have this, I've got this little pop-up, gives you some instructions. It tells you can highlight text and double-click on images to redact them. And again, what I'm doing here is just marking for redaction. So if I want to redact this section here, do all this top part that's now marked for redaction, and double-click on this image as well, and do this portion of the column here. So all that is now marked for redaction. I can check and see and make sure this is exactly what I want to do, and then just apply those redactions. Now these are being removed from the page completely. Now we also have, while we're talking about true redaction here, going back up to some of these pages we redacted, we can sanitize documents as well. So if you've received a document second-hand, third-hand, who knows who had the document before you, excuse me, you can sanitize the document. So that can be removing any metadata, anything behind the scenes that could potentially someone could find within the document by opening it up in a different program, in a text editor or something like that, being able to see something that had been left behind. So that's an option as well. So that's how you do it manually. Let's look at patterns now. Make this a little bit easier. Okay, just moving my GoToMeeting window out of the way. So if I go to search and redact, I'll get this window on the side here. So first of all, I can search for specific words. So if I want to, let's say, redact the person's name here. So this is a fake Social Security Administration letter. I used a real one and put fake data into it because it's got several different types of patterns on it that we can redact. So let's look at the recipient's name here and search on this here, and we will get that right there. So we can mark his name for redaction. And let's go ahead, mark that and apply it. So now we've removed his name from the document. And I can do things also while we're talking about the actual search feature. So if I wanted to, let's see, redact, something that's more common. I was trying to find a word in here that's more common. Like for instance, I don't see it appearing in here right off the bat. Like the word "of," for instance. I don't know why you want to redact that, but you wanted to put in the word "of" and redact it. You didn't want it to redact the word "off" or "offer." You want to just redact that portion. You can go here and go to whole words only, case sensitive, and then you can include form data as well. So if you're looking at a dynamic form that has been filled out in PDF, we can do that as well. Just want to point that out on the search feature. But let's move on to patterns here. So this is and before I go into patterns, I always like to point out that we have the option up here to not just redact within the document, but we can also go to folders as well. So I can search within a folder, and I can redact multiple documents at once. And of course, at Fox, we offer lots of bulk enterprise automation tools that manage your resources. If you want to do thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of documents, we have the software for you. In a desktop setting, of course, you're not going to do that many, but yeah, if you've got 50 documents and you want to go through them quickly and redact them, we can absolutely do that by choosing a folder. And that comes in handy here. So if I have a folder full of documents that I want to make sure there are no Social Security numbers on, I can select that. I'm just going to make sure I'm still on my current document, okay? And then select pattern. And here are the pattern options that we offer. So we've got phone number, date, Social Security, email, and credit card numbers. We have several of those here. So let's see if Social Security number. So again, we're going to get our list of results here, and then we can check off all or one. In this case, that's the same thing. And it will highlight that area, and we can mark that for redaction. Okay, and I decide, okay, before I send this document out, let me also make sure there's no phone numbers in here. Let's see, get a phone number. So we'll mark that for redaction. And I don't know why, but let's do dates as well. We've got 2 dates appearing in the document. So there we go. So now we have marked phone number, 2 instances of dates, Social Security number for redaction, and when I'm ready to do that, I'll simply apply and redact those items. Okay, great. So that's the Foxit PhantomPDF tool. Again, just to recap, we have lots of options for manual redaction, simple to do, search through, redact entire pages or sections of your document. We also do keyword searches, and we have any patterns available that you can do within the current open document or within a folder directory full of documents. So let's look at some enterprise automation tools here. And specifically, we're going to look at Rendition Server. So Rendition Server is a tool. And before I mention Rendition Server, I also mention our compressor tool as well. So if you have items within a network or with inside of your organization, on desktops, on computers, on network folders, we have a tool that will convert documents, compress them, and completely convert, scanned paper from images into highly compressed and searchable documents in bulk. And then, kind of a tier up from that is what you're looking at right now, which is Rendition Server. So it does the same thing, except kind of on a more programmable and customizable scale. So if you're especially a state or local government that has a website, you collect documents, maybe people fill out forms on your website, and you want to be able to take that information, store it on your servers as you do today, and then do some additional things with that. Maybe it's redaction. Maybe it's converting it to a different file type. But we can absolutely work in real time with custom applications that you're running today on the web, and do all different types of conversions and alterations and compressions, redactions to these different types of documents. And so Rendition Server, you're looking at the web UI of it right now. And this is something that it is kind of a set it and forget it tool. So for instance, if you had maybe a Freedom of Information Act project to do where you have tons of paper to scan in, and you're scanning it directly in to your system. It's going onto your, whatever you use for document management on your server. You have all these large tips of documents that need to be made available for the public. They also need to be redacted. This would be the perfect tool for that. So we can, without you having to remove or download any of those documents that you've already scanned in or storing, we can then interface with your document management system. We can convert those tips to PDFs, make them small size, make them searchable. We can put them in any PDF format, but PDF-A would probably be recommendable since it's archived and it can't be edited after the fact. And then we can also apply redaction to that as well. So and this interface is responsive. So as you see in the menu right there on the top of the screen, is going to turn into a mobile interface as I reduce this to a tablet size. So I've got my menu here. Same thing as we go down into more of an iPhone or Android phone type. This is handy for IT professionals who want to make changes, and mostly for monitoring. So if you're monitoring your system and you're wanting to see, make sure everything is up and running, or if you need to put a pause on any of your processes, it's a great way to do it on the fly. So that's a really quick overview of Rendition Server, but and I've got some preset strategies here. So let's look at redaction. So what we have here is, these are our different types of preset tools that we have. A lot of common conversions and a PDF redactor. We automatically set up this flow where you have your input. So that'll give you a chance to input any type of encryption you'd like on the document if you want these password protected, or just leave it alone if you don't want that. You have your output. So if you have documents that are all part of a series, you might want to chunk your outputs, meaning you don't want this massive 1,200-page PDF. Instead, you want a series inside of a portfolio where you've got 10 pages or 50 pages per PDF. And if you have documents that are in directories and you do want them all to be in one PDF, you can merge your output by clicking on that. And then if you go down the assembly line here, that's kind of what we call this. We're going kind of in order here as to what happens in the process. If we go to the PDF portion here, we have further encryption options. We've got all of our compression settings. And by choosing a PDF type and even using just our standard settings, you already have a really good baseline to go off of. And the information here, we have built-in tips and tool tips into the document that tells you exactly what you have to do if there's any question about anything as you perform these tasks. So let's go down to redaction here. So now to redact, we have several different options here. So we have 1 and 2. So it'll tell us if we click on the tooltip, it'll tell us that 1 will allow us to redact keywords or phrases. And you simply type in a keyword to redact it, or if you want to type in a phrase, you can type in as many words as you want to as long as they're surrounded by quotation marks. And then you can also set it to pattern as well. And we have those same patterns that you saw in PhantomPDF available. So imagine, being able to convert scanned in legal documents, en masse, and redact, Social Security, credit card, personal information, phone numbers from all of those at once. And you can do that right here from this tool. So going through here, you can choose your color. So, again, I'll let you know some RGB options there. You can type them in. 0 is black, so we have a black redaction marked on here. You can tell it how many pages. So if we're looking at, the default is all, so it's going to redact everything under your parameters once it's set to all. But if you had specific documents that you knew, you have this series of documents and the last 3 pages contain information that needs to be redacted, we could say that right here, the first 3. If we know it's always page 5 and 7, there's options for that here. We have our character ranges. We can check this box to search inside of forms. And then we go even further here, so you can completely control if you want there to be something over the documents. So I chose redact or redacted, depending on how long the actual redaction mark is, to be displayed. You can make this say whatever you want it to say. You can choose the color of that font and the size of it as well. So let me go into so here is my Rendition Server demo folder, and I'm also going to pull up a tool here. Get to it 1 second. So this is a tool it's kind of an internal tool that allows us to run Rendition Server processes right here on my desktop. So you'll notice that these folder names here align with the names inside the application here. So really all that we're doing is running this Rendition Server process on these folders. So I have my redaction here, and let's take a look at the local redaction folder. So I've got this PDF inside the document here, and this is in altered court documents. This doesn't have any, but I wanted to use something that looked relatively real. The plaintiff and the defendant are not real. But let's say in this instance we need to redact the name of the plaintiff from the document. And so let me close these out. Go back to the tool, okay? And so we have that already set here. So Acme was the name of the plaintiff on the document. So we're going to go back out. We would save any changes that we made, and then let's go ahead and run this process. So I'm going to choose, here are some of those, if you remember the set processes that we had. Here they are. So we're going to choose our redaction model that we just set up and convert the document. So as you can see, it's already converted it, created an output folder here. So let's see what it did. And so there we have our, let me close this sidebar window. We have our plaintiff's name redacted from the document with that text that we placed in there over that. So, this is just a tiny taste of what Rendition Server can do. And really the key here is imagining this working with your applications, with your systems, your document management as it is today, and going behind the scenes and converting your documents, redacting your documents, freeing up storage space, and that's what it does. Okay, so next, let's take a look at our plugin for Microsoft Office. Here we go. So I'm going to open up a Word document here. Now, this is not a legal document. This is actually one of our internal documents. I was trying to find something that was robust and had lots of bookmarks and hyperlinks involving the court. But really, the best thing to just demonstrate the technology was more of a standard document here. I'm sure all of those documents exist, and I've seen some of them myself. But being within the courts and legal systems, I know that those documents are not made available in editable form on the web. So let's just pretend this is a courtroom document, and we have all of our bookmarks over here. You can see our hyperlinks within the document. Before we do bookmarks and hyperlinks, though, and while we're here, I wanted to take a look at the Foxit plugin. So this plugin is for all Office products. So we have this for PowerPoint, Outlook, and we have it for Word that we're in right now. The Outlook one is a little bit different, and I always want to mention this in legal scenarios. Our Outlook plugin does allow for automatic and scheduled archival of emails. So we can convert your emails on a schedule to PDFA and store them in any directories that you want to. And that's a big difference here with Outlook, having that extra feature on there. But with all of them, you can create a PDF, you can create an email, you can merge PDFs within the document. And the redaction piece is relatively simple. It's just a manual redact. Let me pick a page that has images and text on it. Do this one here. Okay. And so really, when we have a mark area, it's going to be very similar to the very first thing that I showed you. So we can draw this box around text. We could stop here and do it again, or we could do even text and images at the same time and draw this box. So now it's marked for redaction. And so we have two different options here. So we have standard redaction. So if I want to hit standard redaction, which I'll do in a second, it's going to redact that area and it's going to create a PDF with that section redacted. Now, RMS redact, so I don't know if anyone on the call is using any Microsoft systems that involve rights management, SharePoint to iCloud Business, all the way down. RMS redact is a really great feature for anyone who has the need for redaction, but they don't want to keep creating multiple duplicate types of different documents. I know we have customers in the medical industry who have to produce and release documents about patients, for various reasons, for various studies. And the old processes were to have duplicate documents, one with patients' names redacted from the documents, and copies that are internal. This will allow you to check in, check out, and post a redacted document and keep it the same. So anyone with permission to see the document will see the document as it is. And anyone who tries to access the document who is not authorized, which will be anyone else or anyone publicly, it will show them automatically a version of the document with a truly redacted section, however you've marked it. So it's a pretty powerful tool when you include that RMS piece with it as well. I'm not hooked up to that today, so we're just going to do standard redaction. It's going to ask me to save it. I'll do that. All right. There we go. And too many programs running on my laptop here, probably the Rendition Server, taking up a lot of resources. So here we have our PDF and our kind of arbitrarily redacted section here. So, and the reason why I chose that is because I wanted to show you the plugin, but also really show you what we can do in conversion of Word documents. So here is Foxit having converted this Word document over and has brought over the table of contents beautifully. Any headers and footers are brought over. All of those bookmarks within the document, here they are, find out completely. And if we look at, jump down here, hyperlinks, these have all been brought through as well. So let's add some bookmarks and hyperlinks to the document. So let's say, for instance, we've got, so this is kind of a technical document, and web service configuration is the very last tab on here. Well, maybe that's something I want to highlight, so something that people are going to look at this document for, and they're going to want to jump directly to some instruction on that document. I want to pull that out. So that last web service configuration bookmark, I'm going to leave that in there, but now I'm going to add a new one. So I can simply highlight text on here, and I can add a new web service configuration bookmark outside. So this is a new tier of bookmarks here. And now I can include just, I'm going to change the name of it so people will know. Okay, these are some highlights and things that you need to look for if you want a quick guide to jump through and set up your web service configuration. And so I can jump down here, and as you saw, you can highlight text, and it's going to automatically bring that over here. But what if I want an image to appear? So I have this configuration screenshot here. I can go right to that portion of the page, and I can hit Save the Current View as a bookmark. So this current view, wherever I'm at, whatever is aligned with the top of the page there, I just simply click that, and it's going to allow me to add another bookmark here. So I'll put config screenshot. Okay, and that one added it to the tree here. So let's move this one just by simply dragging and dropping. Let's move it underneath our new web services. And now when I collapse it, it's within the web service configuration portion of it. Let's add one more to that. Now if I'm on the screenshot, and let's go back out, let's just test to make sure this works. So here we are at the beginning, and then let's jump down to that screenshot that we wanted. And if I'm highlighted on the screenshot, let's go to another section here. Let's see, adding application dialog box. Okay, so here's one that people might be interested in seeing. So I can highlight this whole line of text here. I can add this, and it's automatically, since I was already selected a subset of those bookmarks, it will add this one as a subset as well. So there we have it there. And if I want to, if I have a particularly long bookmark here, and I want that information to all show within the bookmarks, I can simply choose wrap long bookmarks. And now all of that text is within here. So now we have all of our bookmarks in the documents, and we have got our configuration highlights where people can jump directly to sections that they want to see. So let's look at links as well. So one great thing about Foxit is we've got, for any of our links on here, it's going to automatically detect anything that's brought into PhantomPDF that has an http:// or www.com. It's going to automatically convert those to web links. And if you don't want that, you can simply go here and remove all links. Most people do. It's very handy, but it's also easy to remove and can detect as well. So for instance, if I remove these links from here, it will do that. It will give me the option of how, where do I want them to be removed from. I want to add them back. It's going to find all of those. I think there's 7 in the document. Detect those, or 3. I guess I'm just on this. I tried to delete a few pages. So 3 were added to the document. As you can see, the hyperlinks were added back in. So so it's really easy to hyperlink the document to link out to the web. But let's actually create a link within this document, and I'll show you the various options on here. So we're talking about RMS tools here. So I thought we could add in the Foxit knowledge base. We have got a search result here of everything RMS related within our database. These are all questions that customers have asked or have gained support on. So I'd like to add that link here. So I can go down to this web service configuration, message to RMS administrators, and let's just simply add some text to the document. Okay. All right. So I'll just demonstrate the linking here. So we've gone through manual redaction today, starting with the Death Valley documents and redacting pages, manually redacting images and text. We looked at patterns, so security numbers, phone, and dates. Rendition Server, which is our service tool to be able to redact documents in bulk. We have our Word plugin for redaction, and we have adding bookmarks and hyperlinks. That's all I've got, Dee Dee.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dan. Just wanted to wrap this up. We do have another tips and tricks for our government customers coming up in April. Actually, that's the wrong date. Should be April 12th. And we will go over how to make PDFs accessible. We did do a previous webinar with our first release, Phantom 9.0. We have a new release that's coming out, PhantomPDF 9.1. So please sign up for that webinar. So thanks again for everyone that attended today's session. Be sure to stay online and answer our questions at the end. We have a survey question so that we can improve these sessions for you in the future. And with that, I hope to see you on at our next session in April. Thanks and have a good day. Bye-bye.